Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Bakemonogatari, Episode 5.
Okay,
alright.
The company is headed towards, well, not really the company. Senjigahara isn't there, and Hanakawa isn't there anymore. But Araragi, Hachikuji are heading towards her house, but then they need the message from Senjigahara.
From Senjigahara. And she just relayed something back from Oshino. And things are seeming to get a little bit mysterious with this whole thing with
Hachikuji's house.
Yes. Well, specifically with her, like there's obviously some kind of mystery element with the girls when they're produced and stuff.
Naturally.
But specifically with her, I would say her personality is starting to lead towards something in her, and I'm not sure how it connects back to Senjigahara and stuff, but I'm sensing something.
There's at the very least some animosity between them for reasons. Because Senjigahara does not like getting ignored. But yeah, we'll have to see how this goes in this episode. Boy,
and this show is something.
Yep.
So we're having fun with it. Without further ado, guys, let's get into it. All right, everyone, we're gonna start the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Okay. Yeah. We have another potential
kind of monster.
Yeah, thing like him.
What?
This OP,
time for the opening.
My god.
I really like this opening.
Yeah, me too. The thing that is interesting though is if you look in the opening, the little bunny thing on the side of her pack is smiling.
Yeah.
But what we've seen when it is in the episode, it's like got a little tear and it's frowning.
Sure.
See it there? It's smiling.
Well, I wondered if that was something that was like making a connection with like the bunny being like Araragi.
Oh wait, maybe
sort of
I'm
getting dragged along with her.
Wait, no. Hold on. Maybe I'm mixing up something. On one side it's smiling, on the other side it's crying.
Oh,
that's what it is. Yeah. Look, that side it's crying. The other side it's smiling.
That does that is a good representation of her personality.
I just love how frenetic it is.
I love the fact that like it does the whole like reaching out for the hand sequence, but both are her.
Right.
The real question is what's in her backpack.
Zawara though. Okay. Strange stuff from her mother, it seems like. That's the most I could get out of that.
Right. Yeah.
What was that look?
Of course not, he's 17. Then everything changed. Ooh.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Maybe that was why he ended up becoming a pseudo-vampire, immortal, whatever.
Hmm.
Wow.
With this music, though.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Probably among other things, yeah.
And then while this happens, Senjikahara comes back and is just like, ugh.
The dance aspect of them following around. All right.
Okay.
Hmm.
Exactly like that?
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly like that. Hmm. I think I figured out Aragi's problem. One too many?
Yeah.
Two too many.
He's making fun of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
She's said that before. What's with the tongue twisters again?
Hmm. Hmm. Ah.
Hmm.
uh, uh.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, good. We're bringing this up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, past tense,
Right.
yeah. Oh.
It's rough.
Oh, yeah. Therein lies the problem. Loving both of them despite what you're seeing, not
right, matching up with that, yeah.
Uh-huh, yep. Yeah. Oh, whoa, that's cool. Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
Understandably.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Wow. From
She
all the way over here. Yes. Oh. Nice. I have that ability. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't. What?
Oh, Senju
Trying to subliminally message him?
Yeah.
Program him?
Right.
Message, come on.
Oh. Okay. Different angles. Yeah.
All right.
Nice. Then we separate the perspective.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Gotcha.
Because it's ultimately a perspective, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
But if you follow that line of reasoning too far, you just can't know or
you know
believe
nothing.
Anything.
But that's the beginning of wisdom, is that you know nothing. Change your perspective. Ah.
Okay.
Hachikuji being the snail in this case.
Right, right.
Uh-huh.
Hachikuji isn't saying anything right now.
Yeah.
Which basically means she's agreeing with what Senjugahara is saying.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
That's cool. That's cool.
All right.
Whoa. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow.
Because she is the mother. After all, I'm her only daughter. So...
Oh, did she get hit by a car or something?
So much.
This is like her spirit? Yeah.
Dang, bro.
Wow.
Wow. Oh.
Holy crap.
Hmm.
Whoa.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Dang.
Holy crap. I can't believe I didn't notice that. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That makes sense. Yep.
So they got the second opinion.
Yep. Yep.
Right. Okay.
There it is. That's you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Mm.
And that also explains why he was so persistent of going back to her at the place.
Right. Dang. Mm. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Let go, buddy.
Yeah. Okay.
In some ways, she's
Gotcha.
trying to stay separate, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure.
Don't lose your way.
Yeah. So is there a way to make her, like, help her pass on?
Yeah, by letting go. You won't know that she's passed on to the spot correctly. You have to trust that, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Very possible.
Yeah. It was just because it was someone, not because it was her.
Yeah.
Big deal for her.
Cool. Oh. Okay.
Oh. Okay. Huh? Okay. All right. Oh.
Oh.
Okay. That was clever.
Yeah. Oh.
Hmm. Right.
Oh.
Hmm. Cool.
That's great.
Exactly.
Maybe just a little bit, but there it is. There it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And tilting my neck, you know. Mhm. Wow, that's better.
Yep. 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 Pretty much. But that's a given. Let's move on
Yeah,
from
yeah,
that.
yeah. Uh-huh. Condition.
Hmm. Hey, there. That's better. That's better.
Okay.
That's better.
Cool.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Awesome.
Well, that's great because it fills in the whole thing of let's talk
Uh-huh.
more.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Indeed. Thank you. Thank you. I do too.
Wait, come again?
That's not putting it into clear words.
Wait. Safely weathered.
There you go.
Nice. Nice. I think they burritoed him and then tossed him down the stairs. Oh! That's amazing.
Hey, right yeah.
Oh, all
right.
Okay.
That was an amazing episode.
That was a sweet
that
episode.
Was awesome. Like, okay.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
I can feel that this was basically the kind of the culmination of not only Hachikuji's little mini arc here, but also a lot of what had been going on with Senjugahara and Araragi. So
yes.
Having this all kind of come to a head here was
I was a little bit weirded out by some of the fight, but everything else about the episode is fantastic. Like,
the way really good.
The way they resolved it, the way they had Senjugahara's whole character be tied into it too.
Yeah.
Like, because the thing is like, okay, I've seen shows where they're like, okay, let's do like a little mini arc and we'll focus on some different character or whatever.
Right.
And that's great. And it can be fantastic. And if they just had that for Hachikuji, it would still be really good, right? But the fact that they also had it tied into Senjugahara when she was just, introduced and, her story was gone into previously.
Yep.
So that it's not like, oh yeah, now we'll just put them in a box and save for later. It's like, no, they actually are a person living and breathing in this world. Well, okay, not all of them are living and breathing, but, and that's terrible that I said that, but that basically they all play a part that is ongoing, right? It's that way you can have actual dynamic interactions, right? And since this show is all about dialogue, that's fantastic. Because
it also makes sense because otherwise you would have just two consistent characters.
Right, and then it would end up getting kind of stale. Yeah.
And now they do generally keep it between two characters talking to each other.
Right.
But they'll bring in characters consistently to switch it up.
Right.
But I loved the imagery that they used to describe basically Hachikuji's situation with regards to her family and love and how it's hard to love people when, one, you have the memory issues going on because of the separation by being in custody with her father, but also having the knowledge that the relationship that you saw between them was one that, while they said things that meant that they were in a relationship, everything about their actions stemmed from a point of conflict or contention or something, and made it even more difficult to love them, and made her question herself as to why she's loving them.
And also just the fact that as young as she is, she doesn't fully understand what love is. So the fact that everyone else is saying, oh yeah, they love each other so much, but then she sees what they're like when they're not around other people, and it's like, is this actually what love is? Like you don't know because you're a kid.
You don't have much to compare it to.
Exactly. Yeah, that was fantastic.
The part when Senjugahara came back and basically revealed what was actually going on.
That was just like
was probably one of the most, I would say, direct kind of points of dialogue we've had probably in the entire show. It feels like because one, I understood immediately what was going on for the most part, but it just kept building and building and building, and by having Hachikuji be like you said, completely silent and completely docile and inert during this whole thing.
Right.
Like you said, it was a form of agreement that this is all actually real. This is what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And I loved the talk about how reality changes based on your perspective.
Yep.
It's not even that reality changes, it's that you can't really understand you can't know what you don't know because your perspective basically tells you, what you're looking at. And then we have this whole thing with Araragi looking at Hachikuji, and he can see her where Senjugahara can't. So then you can take that a bit further and look at Araragi's character and how he approaches basically life, the world in general, and you see that his way of looking at things might skew actually what's going on. And that tells us a lot about what his problem is ultimately.
Well, one of the other great things about it too is that I didn't realize it until you brought it up, and that's and it's amazing. But that was when Senjugahara told him how they were going to help her pass on. It's all about perspective, right? And you can't know what you don't know, and perspective is everything. And looking at things, how do if you don't actually perceive something, then is it actually there, right? So, and it's like, okay, cool, let's go to Hanakawa's. Yeah, right. She's got a similar thing. Okay, cool. Let's go on this roundabout way, and then they get to the address, and Hachikuji never realized it until they're there, and boom. Problem solved. Yeah, that was fantastic. And they didn't end the episode there.
Yeah, which was great. I think that them ending the episode, resolving Senjugahara and Araragi's relationship, if it will, or not resolving it, but kind of putting a milestone in it, specifically for what, whatever's coming up next, and having Hachikuji's kind of resolving of this here being something where there was no house there.
Right.
There was no house there. And what I think that's meant to say is that we're looking at things generally from Ragi's perspective. Like, almost always. Okay. There was a point in this episode where we actually saw Senjugahara's perspective. Actually, I don't think we ever technically did. I think the only thing that we did was... Because we never actually saw Hachikuji leave the shot entirely. And I think they made a good point of that, because whenever they would shift things up or away... They made sure to point out that her silhouette was there, the whole time, and I was looking to see if it would ever flicker out. But she pointed in the wrong spot as to where Hachikuji was, basically to show that I have no idea where she is. It's kind of the thing of when a blind person is talking to someone and they're looking off and down to the side. It's because their eyes aren't trained to focus on something because they can't see.
Right.
So in this case, there's that, and what that means, I think, is that for all this specific thing here, this specific thing that they've got going on, Senjugahara can't see the house because it's nothing to do with her.
I don't know if it was something necessarily that the house didn't exist, but it's that it had been demolished.
Yes, it had been.
And that's why it was the whole thing of they had to take the new roads versus the old roads, because the only things that Hachikuji knew were the old roads, because when her house existed, because she's been dead for a while. And also
I was going to go with some whole weird symbolism thing about the house actually,
it was just an arbitrary location or something, and it was
no, it's that something that finally this was a part of Araragi letting go.
But
if the house is demolished, then then there you go.
But one of the things that I thought was really interesting was so that I can't believe I never made this connection, but she's a snail, right? She has the backpack. Right. Yeah, totally makes sense. But she's standing up is the thing.
Right.
In order for her to look like a snail, she would need to be lying down.
And then the shadow.
And then, and then the shadow, or just, the general, then that would be the general shape of a snail. So it's like, she's dead. It's like, wow, okay, of course.
Right.
Hindsight's 20/20. But then
it's also a perspective thing again.
Yes, perspective. But also the idea that they were able to have a twist like that in a show that is so,
well, it just started.
It just started, but with
having
everything,
a twist without that much build,
exactly,
with so little build up,
with so little build up, and that the stuff that we got with, say, Senjugahara, right? It was It was not. It was something that made sense from an emotional perspective, but not from a not from like a more literal perspective, mechanical perspective, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So it and because of all the weird things that they would do in the show of like perspectives and things like that and whatnot, the fact that they can actually have something that is a twist where there was concrete stuff building up to it and everything,
right.
And there was stuff for Senjukahara too, but that was again more emotional stuff rather than the kind of things that they had for this that were a lot more like technical, I feel like.
Right.
That's very impressive that they could do that and have it be because great twists will be like, whoa, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And that totally makes sense now. You know, like now that they bring it up, it's like I totally see how that's what it is. And they did it.
So this is something that I feel like the show is building up, actually. Remember when I said I think I understand Araragi's problem now?
Uh-huh.
So Araragi's problem is basically that he has issues. Like, he has issues. Like, he has a number of issues.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the primary one is basically his separation from his own family. Basically, the distance that he's put from them, and basically he's had a little bit of a schism within himself, and he talks about it when he says he was growing up and stuff, and I thought that was really cool because we don't know what timeline it was when he became a vampire with regards to that stuff. I think they said at some point that there was like a X unit of time a while ago. There was that happened, that was a thing,
right?
But I think that all these people coming into his situation seem very pointed at helping him solve little aspects of his own problems.
Yes.
Which is a very clever storytelling tactic when you want to foreshadow and build up the primary conflict by having it mirrored and reflected in other conflicts.
Right. Because ideally, that's what you want to do anyways. Like, whether you're talking about plot structure of, like little build-ups and climaxes and then an overall build-up and climax and things like that, or just things of characters, right? You want other people to grow as they're going through the story of other people, right?
Right.
You want to have it have relevance to the main character.
So think about this from perspective. Think about this from a perspective kind of thing. Araragi wants to save other people and help them with their problems.
Right.
That seems kind of noble. Seems kind of good. Why is it then that almost every single time we see him kind of in these situations and stuff, he's constantly being like painted in this light of like things are just anti him. So
just how he's a terrible, despicable person or whatever, or that he's a incompetent or a failure or infantile or whatever.
So what I think this is that Araragi has cast out his problems into the environment. And this is not supposed to be taken as literally as possible, but these girls are projections of his own problems.
Right. And
okay, I'm just going to keep going here for a second. They're projections of his own problems. The reason why he wants to save everyone is because they're all his problems.
Right.
So he wants to save his problems, and by doing that, it brings it back to him.
Exactly.
But he's aware somewhat that is the reason for this. So he doesn't actually, or maybe he subconsciously doesn't actually care about them if they were real people, which I think they are. That's important to realize, is that this isn't all some dream or whatever.
Right.
But he's aware that he only is doing this because it ties back directly to him solving his problems. So he calls himself a despicable person and stuff. So they see that as real people. Right. So what you cast out into the environment gives you it feeds back. So now they end up doing that. But what's funny is now we have Senjugahara, who is probably the first person to pierce through the
bullshit,
the BS, exactly, and just go, no, you still do want to help everyone. You still do want to do that. It's not necessarily just that it was me. Like, that is something there, and I appreciate that, but I think it makes you special just that you want to help other people.
Right, because...
And I think my last thing is that I think at some point he's going to let it all out and basically have a good conversation with her about how, no, I really am just wanting to kind of help myself, and I need help with that whole thing. So.
Right, and because the thing is that, okay, someone wanting to help someone else.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. We all have times where we, do nice things, good things or whatever. And totally. we might even try and do that, as much as we can.
Yep.
But to have something where you are compelled almost to do those things, even when in a lot of cases there is direct opposition from the person that needs the help.
Yep.
You know, that one might say is not very healthy necessarily, right? Because it's getting intrusive with like, no, I can help you solve your problems. Well, who are you, right? And he does end up actually helping them solve their problems, but to have it be like that for anybody, where it doesn't matter who it is, that suggests some level of dysfunction, right? So the idea that he is going after this and constantly trying to just help whoever he can, doesn't matter who they are, shows just, you know, like you were saying, him projecting out. But the thing is, I think it can go one step further than that. Because when he was talking about his problems, it was that he was the model student, the model child that would do all the things, but then he had trouble keeping up with his studies. And that ended up kind of like going away, right? He thought people started to think less of him. Okay. So it could be that it's not just about him dealing with his own problems in a sense of like, but that
keeping up with the perceptions of others about him.
Well, keeping up with the perception of others about him, but also proving to himself that maybe I still can be that person that I used to be, right? I can still solve all the problems. If you talk about like homework and studies and things like that, a lot of what you're doing is solving problems, right? And he couldn't keep up with it, so now he's going out to other people and helping them solve their problems, so that at least to them, maybe he can be that person that he used to be for his family.
Yes, you know, that is part of the schism bit with the family that I'm sensing. So and then that's perfect.
And then he I can't remember if it was him that brought it up to Senjigahara or Senjigahara that brought it up. I think she brought it up, and basically talking about how that it could have been anybody, right? And he didn't do it for her, right?
Right.
And normally I would think about that, and I think Senjigahara would think about that and wouldn't like it, because it's, you know, it's the whole idea of that means you don't value me as much as I would like, right?
Sure.
But then she thinks about it and she's like, well, no, I guess that's just the kind of person he is. Warts and all, that's kind of a problem that he has, that he is so focused on those kinds of things.
Right.
But, you know, I
still would have admired
that I like.
Right. An example would be like, I still would have admired this if I saw you doing this for Hanakawa, for instance. Right. And that's something I think she brings up. And that's pretty cool, because Senjigahara is a character that we've already seen like massive development from. Like, probably my favorite character, like in the show right now.
Definitely my favorite character.
Like, I think this episode is specifically meant to showcase a lot of that development.
And that's probably where the best Girl Wars will come in.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll keep introducing characters and giving them great development and stuff, and people will be like, no, this person's the best. This person's the best.
Yeah, I really do like how much of that was shown to not actually be a contrasting thing with any previous things with Senjigahara, but actually to showcase that it was direct involvement based along the conversations that she had with Araragi, meaning that there was a relationship being built up by the previous conversations, and those previous conversations were really important, not just from the standpoint of how the problems were being solved, but how that's the thing that she's ended up attaching to in a positive way to Araragi outside of solving her problems, saying, I would like to have more of that. And that's something that has, you know, her go on the bold strategy of just, I love you. And he's just like, wait, what?
and one of the things, like, okay, we have previously established with Senjigahara that she is a very sort of fourth wall breaking meta character with how she does things, right? You know, referencing Super Saiyans and things like that, right?
Yep.
But here's the thing. In this episode, we got that not only did she confess immediately, right? Which, you know, episode 5, all right, cool. But, you know, how many episodes does this show have? Awesome. We have a lot of, you know, things that we can do from here moving forward. But also the fact that that she was aware of the fact that it's like, maybe I'm, you know, it's just because I was so starved for, you know, affection and things like that suddenly I latched onto the first person that showed me a little bit of kindness, right? The fact that she's aware of that,
she's so self-aware,
so self-aware, not just, you know, self-aware with the show, but self-aware with herself. And acknowledges that and accepts that. That's very admirable as far as a character trait, right? But then also, and this is one of the things that I absolutely loved, is that she was like, no, I don't like vague relationships. Please answer me with, specific words, because, oh my god. Yeah. That is one of the things that frustrates me to no end, is when they will have characters that they'll give great development to and all that stuff, and they'll basically they'll end up blueballing me with the idea of the romantic subplot or plot or whatever that could end up being really good, but they don't, because we have dumb harem protagonist or whatever. No, and, I think he's not aware, and Senjikara is like spelling it out very clearly, and it's like, and I want you to spell it out back, in very clear words, and he still doesn't. Which I think is actually really important. That's my next thing I wanted to discuss here, is that those projection of problem things is also dictating, in my opinion, why he's actually interested in spending time with a lot of these girls. And I think that's why he's going to screw up the relationship with Senjikara so badly, because eventually she's going to become independent and have, not independent, but she's going to be free of a lot of her problems. And she won't need him anymore, kind of? Well, he won't need her. He won't need her. And that's the sick thing I can already see coming here, is that Senjikara is a character that we're going to see huge development from. Huge development. And Araragi is going to get left in the dust by, I'd say, most of the characters that get introduced in this. Yeah, because probably. This whole episode brought up the whole idea of holding on and not being able to let go. Yep. I think that it's really cool that they found a clever workaround trick to solve the whole thing with Hachikuji, but I think it's actually very indicative of where he's at, in that he's not actually willing to let go. So in a way, while Hachikuji might have won and had her problem solved, it wasn't actually Araragi that solved everything here. Araragi went along with the whole act of them, doing the roundabout, but I don't think he learned anything here. I think he learned a lot, but I don't think he learned that specifically. He needed to. Right, he's not there yet, and he needed to. Right, and that's why Araragi is kind of the main plot of this story, right? Because they can have it last a long time, and 100% bring in new characters and stuff that he helps solve issues for and all that stuff, but he still needs to solve his own issues. And the thing is that I don't think they'll forget this, basically, because nope, definitely not. They very much established firmly that while there are all these other arcs, so to speak, with the other characters that get introduced, the main arc is his arc. The main arc is his arc, yeah. So as long as they keep developing that, that'll be fantastic. I don't know how they will keep doing that without ending the series, if that makes sense, because they couldn't have had it resolved here, because then it's like, okay, how does Araragi, whatever, keep growing, right? Eventually it's just gonna be Agi. Yeah. Araragi. But how do they keep addressing this while progressing the story and introducing new characters without basically just sort of dragging it out and stretching it out, because they don't ever want to actually meet the end point? Because I get the feeling this is the type of show that isn't actually going to have an ending per se. Well, I think that the way they can do it is he goes through a lot of points where he has the opportunity to solve the problem and he pushes it away. He pushes away the solution because in some way he's enjoying this kind of self-centered kind of which is again very I would meta. Say kind of it's really meta. That's why I think it's not supposed to be all a dream, but I think we're supposed to, on some level, look at this in a little bit of a meta way and realize that this story kind of is his wet dream in a lot of way. It's his thing of having all these pretty girls constantly coming over to him and needing their problems solved, which is completely unrealistic from a realism standpoint, but in the story's meta. Tilting necks, and we're not looking at this for realism, but the symbolism here is that these are probably all people that are coming to him, basically showing him a little facet of himself because of the way he's projecting. Right, because perspective, exactly. Perspective, yes, exactly. And that's why I'm not ever going to go fully into the theory of none of this is real. But I am definitely going to hold tight to this whole thing of perspective, because this is something that's real. In real life, all you have is your perspective. All you have is your perception. You don't have a true perfect connection to reality. No one does. No one does. We're all looking through lenses and filters. Yes, exactly. So when Araragi basically has little elements of
like different facets of reality basically popping up in his life and stuff, he gets basically the unique perspective of having all of them, you know, basically just getting to experience all of them. And I think once his perspective starts to shift a little bit, we'll see whether or not they want to draw this out by having him revert back or having him actually change. So I think the actual person that will change the least is
Araragi.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that happening, and I think that's also one of the reasons why the watch order is such a contentious issue, because since he is the overall since he's the overall arc, and he ends up developing and is going to develop in different permutations and ways with the different characters that get introduced.
He will change.
He will change, but changing the order of those will basically give you a different experience of how he grows as a person. One of the other things that
makes sense a lot.
Okay. I almost lost it, but one of the other things is that I think is that since they were talking about perspective, and that we've seen now that it really is focused on Araragi in a very, you know, meta but also very good narratively way.
Totally.
All the times that they show those different camera angles and shots, we can look at them with basically additional perspective.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times one of the things they'll do is that they'll show the up close of the eyes, right? But and the eyes are the gateway to the soul, right? So when they do that, that can be a great way to basically get a read on the new character that has been introduced for this mini arc or whatever.
Oh, sure.
But it is also a great way to show what basically Araragi is latching onto via his perspective when he looks at the character that's been introduced, right?
Right.
So that's just one of those things.
Totally.
I don't know how concretely that can be used, if that makes sense, because this show is very impressionistic in order to have there be constantly like new interpretations and stuff. But that's something that I'm excited to keep in mind moving forward with the series.
Yeah, and that's something that I think we understood probably by about episode 3, I would say, is that we're supposed to take everything seriously
and none of it
seriously.
Right.
And the main things that I think we take seriously is, when you think about seriously, is that absorb everything, but only process like specific things.
Right. Not everything is going to have concrete meaning necessarily.
Concrete is a great word for it, because that's again about perspective.
Right.
Something can have meaning, but as to whether or not it's going to be a lasting, permanent meaning throughout these characters' arcs is a difference. So a way we can also do it is filter it through the individual characters' perspectives by their dialogue, primarily. So the dialogue is basically a way to showcase their perspective. And if you have the show entirely based around dialogue, you basically have different perspectives just batting at each other with, I would say, some fluff in there to disguise what their exact perspective is. But once you have enough of that data kind of percolating in your brain and stuff, you can start to see patterns emerge where it's like, oh, Araragi tends towards this in specific circumstances. Senjugahara tends towards this in specific circumstances.
Right.
And one of the things that I would say was my last little meta poke thing is that Senjugahara says Araragi's name a ridiculous amount of times. Like, when I say ridiculous, I mean like a proper kind of meta, like female side character.
Eden.
Yes. And it's one of those things that I think is important here, because in most stories where there's the girl, like kind of the main girl, I would say in the story right now, they just say the main guy character's name a lot. But listen to how many times actually Araragi says Senjugahara's name. And listen when he says it. This is one of the things I'm percolating with here. There are specific times actually in the dialogue where he'll go with bouts of never saying her name.
And to be fair, even though Araragi is a bit of a mouthful, Senjugahara is probably more of a mouthful.
Oh, way more.
So
way more. We see almost as many like little hair flips of Araragi as we do actually him saying Senjugahara's name. Now, in this episode, he said her name actually quite a lot. Now, this is something I don't want to go like settle on right now, but I'm going to be watching this because this is something that I've seen in these kind of romantic stories or whatever, subplots or whatever, where the girl will say the guy's name a lot, but the guy will only say the girl's name in very specific circumstances. But I've seen that's even more so important here, I think, with Araragi.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm just caught onto something that means absolutely nothing.
Like this show is such an acid trip, but now it's starting to make so much sense. It's like, okay, have we been like, have we now been
our perspective
like,
gone
corrupted? Yeah,
by the show, nuts with that whole thing, or are we actually like? He's beginning to believe.
Right, exactly. Seeing the code.
Seeing the code, yeah.
All I see is, brunette
redhead. Blood. Yes, it is. That's exactly it. These days, I don't even see the code. I just see waifu number 1, waifu number 2,
best
waifu
girl,
yeah.
Not Senjukahara, not Senjukahara. But,
yes.
But
oh my God.
Like that gives me a whole other perspective on the people that appreciate this show so much, because like this kind of experience I doubt there's another show out there like this one. But so yeah,
I think if anything it makes sense that you'd want to take that's me, you'd want to take specific parts of this show. But I think with the direction and the visual storytelling, there's almost no way you could probably match it with this quality level, I would say.
Right, because there really is this rhyme to the reason and the method to the madness and everything here that I feel like if another story were try to emulate, they would just end up doing it badly.
I think you could get the banter, but I don't think you could get the directing.
Well, you're right, because I've seen the banter done, right? But the acid trip aspect, I feel like that would end up being like shaky cam in action movies.
Oh.
There would be the directors that know how to use it well, so that you feel the impact of the punches and the everything. But then there'd be the people that don't know how to do it well, and it just end up being a headache.
Sure.
But
yeah. This is an amazing episode.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, looking forward to the next one. If you want to see the next episode's reaction right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. Any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about stories, non-spoilery stuff with regards to the show, or just whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there.
But before that,
Jacob has to promote something real quick.
So my sci-fi novel Battle Lines is available for pre-order. Link in the pinned comment down below to the Kickstarter, where you can claim your copy now. Highly recommend it because it is amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, do that.
All right. So we'll see you all next time.